Hey, what's going on, y'all? We're gonna get straight into this. I'm putting this together to help you all expand your arsenal on the field. I'm gonna try to do this all in one take, so bear with me if I end up having my foot in my mouth at certain moments and I don't edit it out. All right, there's gonna be a basic, advanced, quarterback, and pre-snap section in this video, so make sure to watch it through to get some new knowledge. All right, we're gonna start off with our pre-snap stuff. So they added certain things. They added the ability to manage your wear and tear better end games. So, you know, in dynasties and play nows, wherever you're at. All right. And so basically, in order to get to this section, you're going to hit R3. So basically click your right stick in to get to your coach adjustments. You're going to hit R1 or RB. All right. And then it's going to have sections. This is both for offense and for defense. But this is going to be an offensive video. And they'll have different basically options for you to change. So you can change your substitution strategies. You can set it to custom, and you can basically apply universal rules for your subbing in, subbing out that you'll set up in the main menu of the game. All right, and then you'll have balanced, keep fresh, grind it out. You know, grind it out will keep your guys in there longer. Keep fresh. Every time, you know, they take a big hit, like a hit stick, or maybe you threw to the same guy twice and he got tackled, they're gonna automatically sub him out to just try and keep him fresh, and so you know, he can last longer throughout the game. But he's also gonna miss more snaps. You know, there might be a key down where you need him and he might not be there because you already threw to him the last play. All right, and then there's gonna be balanced, which is gonna be a mix. And so after that, we're gonna go ahead and choose our play. Let's choose, we'll go with curl combo here. All right, some more pre-snap stuff. So now they have new substitutions. All right, you can pre-snap, you can already arrange a sub for the very next play, right? And so in order to do this, you're gonna press up on your D-pad. It's gonna bring up your sub menu. All right, you can filter with your bumpers or your L1, R1. You know, skill players, offensive line, just in case if you need, you know, you need to kind of get a quick filter. Okay, and you can substitute for the next play pretty much anyone that fits, you know, your position's requirements. All right, and it's going to show you their overall, it's going to show you their status, it's going to show you, you know, if they have a wear and tear symptom, it's going to show you all of that. And it's not going to take into effect until after this play runs. Okay, and then you hit square if you want to reset it completely to, you know, all of your starters. Next is going to be your blocking protection. Each play is going to have its own built-in blocking protections already, but if you want to change them, there are two ways to do this. All right, so there's your standard tapping L1 or LB, right? And then, you know, flicking whichever stick to whatever you want your corresponding result to be. All right, so here we'll flick it right, we'll get a half slide. All right, the other way, if you want to do it, is you're going to use just your right stick when you come out on the field. All right, so you'll call your play, you'll be standing here just like this. All right, and then we'll flick our right stick to the left. You'll hear the, you know, the audible cue. You check it, and look, it just changed. All right, so if you flick it once, it'll be a half slide. If you flick it twice, right, so we'll flick it to the right twice, he'll clap his hands. That's also, because of the new cadences, that's also going to be an indicator of what you're doing. So this is a full slide right here. All right, and you can flick your right stick now in order to just have quick access to your blocking protections instead of having to, you know, hit L1 and then automatically kind of like see, okay, well, what do I need? All right, another thing that's new this year is untargeting defenders. So let's say, you know, you have your Mike linebacker and your opponent's using him and he's hovering your center. He's not rushing, but he's hovering the center to get your blocker to kind of pull towards him to get that open guy. Well, now you can untarget him. And so what you'll do is you'll hit L1 or LB on your controller. Then you're going to hit triangle or Y, right? And then you're going to see that triangle pop up. And basically you can now select a defender for your blockers to ignore. That way you don't get, you know, those instances where the user's hovering over your center and then it messes up all of your blocking and then you get sacked really fast. All right, if you want to do this without bringing up that menu, what you're going to do is you're just going to flick up once on your right stick, and that's just going to bring it up real quick, and then you can go and you can select who it is that you want on target. That's going to be it for the pre-snap. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and get into the quarterback section, right? And so they added a few new things. We're going to go over that kind of in the later stuff. You already know how to throw the ball. You already know how to hike the ball. I'm not going to show you that stuff. All right. What I am going to show you though are some things that, you know, people may not know, may have forgot about, or just should be using even if you do know about it. All right. So one of the first things, your QB throwaway. You know, I've done it. We've all done it. A lot of people take unnecessary sacks, throw unnecessary interceptions. To throw the ball away, you're going to click your right stick in. So it's going to be an R3. And, you know, a lot of the times you're going to want to get out of the pocket before you do that because you don't want any unnecessary grounding penalties. But after that, a lot of people don't know that you can actually give yourself up if you're about to take a sack. And that is basically going to reduce your chances of fumbling. You do not want to get hit and fumble. And so in order to pull this off, you're going to hit L2, R2, right? Or your LT, RT if you're on Xbox. And then you're going to click R3. You're going to click your right stick in. And he's just going to fall down instead of taking a sack. All right. Well, it is taking a sack, but he's going to fall down instead of getting hit. All right. If you are on the run, he's going to slide instead. All right. So let's say, you know, you need to get out of the pocket. But a lot of the times what you're going to do is you're going to want to run forwards, right? So you're not losing a bunch of yards. And then he'll slide forward. Just like that. All right. So that's going to be L2, R2, or LT and RT. And then R3. That's going to be your QB give up. Next, pump fakes. Pump fakes are a good way of, you know, faking out actually users. It doesn't really fake out AI as much. I believe they have some abilities that kind of help with that, but they're not very reliable, right? And so you're just going to double tap whatever receiver icon it is that you want to throw to. And that's the way to pull off a pump fake. Playmaker is different this year. All right. It is not just right stick input, steer them wherever you want. You have to hold L2 or LT first in order to do it. All right. And so we're going to go ahead and go into offense only because I'm not going to lie, they are cooking this line right now. Right. So we have our routes on the field. I'm going to hold L2 or LT, and then I'm going to steer my receiver in the direction that I want them to go. All right, so you have to hold L2 this year. Now I'm trying to just flick my stick, and as you can see, that icon that pops up underneath the receivers is not working, and they're all standing in one area. All right, and now my favorite feature of this year that they've added is going to be quarterback moves behind the line of scrimmage. All right. So basically what we had back in Madden 21 is now back in a different form. So instead of holding L2 or pushing L2 in order to bring your receiver icons down like it was in the past, now you're just going to hold R2 or RT, right? Your precision modifier. And then you're going to flick the stick to get the move that you want. Right, so we're gonna run, and you can juke, you can spin, all behind the line of scrimmage. You know, you got your chucks. There's no stiff arm as far as I'm aware of right now. There's no hurdling, but you can do anything that requires a stick input. Okay, so next we're gonna go through a lot of the just basic moves for NCAA. You know, a lot of these you're gonna know already. Some of these you may not. But we're gonna go through them. This is a masterclass. So your basic moves. So you have your regular juke, right, which is just flicking your right stick left or right in whichever direction you want to go. That's gonna give you your standard juke. Also, all of these moves that I'm going to be showing you, they all scale dependent upon obviously your ratings for said moves, as well as the abilities that they may have. All right, so that's gonna be your standard juke. Then you're gonna have your precision modified juke, where you're gonna press R2 or RT, and then you're gonna flick the stick, and that's gonna give you a precision modified juke. You know, and that it's a little more steerable as well. And so now we're gonna get into the fourth juke. Oh, my bad. The third juke, which is gonna be the back juke. So running, not holding RT or R2, you're just gonna flick back on your stick, and it's gonna be kind of like a stop and go. That's what they're coining it right now. They're coining it a stop and go. I call it a back juke. It's whatever you want to call it. You're just gonna flick back on your right stick in order to get that. Yep. Now you're gonna have kind of like your angled back cuts. So not pressing RT or R2, you're just gonna diagonally flick back the stick, right? So instead of straight down like this, you are going to flick your stick downwards and to the left at the same time. All right, so that's going to be a diagonal down left or down right input. So that's going to be 7 or 5 o'clock on your stick. You're going to flick your stick to 5 o'clock to do one to the right, and 7 o'clock in order to do one to the left. Here we go. Now we're going to go ahead and get into our spins. All right, rather than jukes now. In order to spin, you're just gonna hit circle or B on your controller, and that's gonna give you a standard spin. All right, if you want to do a more elongated spin, you know, and have better steerability, then you're going to hold your precision modifier, which is R2 or RT. Right, you're gonna hold it down. So basically your sprint button. And then you're gonna press circle or B on Xbox, and that's gonna give you a more drastic change in direction. Now we're gonna have the hurdles. All right, and so with the hurdles, all you gotta do is press triangle or Y, and you know, you're gonna want to make sure that your defender is in the correct position, obviously, and then he's gonna just jump straight over him. The stiff arm is gonna be what I show you next. The stiff arm only works when there is someone near you. So you're gonna see that stiff arm. Another stiff arm. You're gonna press X or A, and you're gonna want to time it. You're gonna press X or A when a defender is in the vicinity of being able to tackle you, and you'll be able to shrug them off of you. And that just helps you shed contact and, you know, be able to get more yardage. If you like using power backs, the only thing you can really kind of use is going to be stiff arming, and then there's trucking, right? So for your trucking, you're just going to flick up on a stick. You're not going to hold it, because if you hold it, it's not going to give you your desired outcome. You're going to flick up on a stick. You have to make sure that you flick up on the stick in order to get him to do a truck. So now, you know, I'm going to show you how to do what I call the setup. Some people call it the hezzy. All right. And so in order to do this, all you're going to do is you're going to hold down your precision modifier, and you're going to flick back on your right stick. So basically the same input you would use for a back juke, except you're gonna hold R2 or RT, and it's gonna give you that. All right, so we're gonna go into back in the offense only, so we can kind of get a better look at this. R2, flick back, and he's gonna kind of hezzy. All right, R2, RT, precision modifier, whatever you want to call it, flick back on the stick. That's going to be your setup. If you're looking for the old setup that was in the last year's rendition of the games, then you're going to hold R2 and L2 in order to get that. All right, so R2, L2, or RT, LT, and then back on the right stick. And he's going to kind of do like a stutter step. And you know, all of the animations that you're gonna get, they're gonna range depending on your guys' rating for that move, like I said before, as well as the ability that they may have for it. Now, if you want to give up instead of taking a big hit, you know, on the field, then you're gonna just tap square or X, and that is gonna give you up. Going to give you up as a ball carrier so that you can't get hit. You're going to tap square or X, depending on square for PlayStation, X for Xbox, right? And that's going to allow you to go down without taking a large hit. Next is celebrations. So if you make a big play and you want to celebrate on your opponent, you know, really rub it in, you're going to hit R2 and L2, you're going to hold it, and then X on PlayStation. So that's going to be RT, LT, and A for Xbox. That's gonna give you a celebration. It's gonna definitely slow you down, so you know, only use that if you have enough space for it. So if you get hit while you're doing that, chances are you're likely going to fumble. All right, next is pitching. If you want to pitch the ball back, you know, really good for option plays and stuff like that, and you know, quarterback speed options, then you're gonna want to tap L1 or LB on Xbox, and that's going to allow you to pitch the ball back to any offensive person or defensive person, sometimes even in your vicinity. So just make sure you have a clear, you know, line between you and the person that you want to pitch it to. Next is protecting the ball. This is really important. I use this a lot. It's simple, but you know, a lot of people just forget. A lot of people like to go for hit sticks and strips, and so in order to kind of decrease your chances of getting stripped or fumbling, you're gonna just want to hold R1 or RB on Xbox, and that's gonna allow him to cover the ball up. That way he's not, you know, he's less prone to fumbling. Now, if you just tap it, right, that's gonna allow you to change the ball hand. Right? A lot of people already know this. As I said, this, you know, this wouldn't be a masterclass if I didn't go through everything. So if you just tap R1 or RB, he's gonna change the hand in which he throws the ball. And this is really good for just, you know, if you're setting up your opponent for, like, maybe you want to stiff arm him, then you tap it real quick, he'll change hands, and then you can press X or A so that you can get that stiff arm off. Or even if you know that you're gonna, you know, you might take a big hit and you don't really want to risk it, then you'll tap it, and then that way you're not getting hit sticked on your ball hand. Because if you get hit sticked on your ball hand, you do have an increased chance of fumbling. Okay, so now we're gonna kind of get into some of the more advanced quote unquote moves. You know, you might know this, you might not. A lot of people, at least from my experience, don't know this stuff. And the first thing I'm gonna show you is gonna be like basically I call it the shimmy juke. All right, and it's really like a misdirection. You're just gonna kind of shimmy one way and end up going the other way. Right, and so in order to do this, you're not gonna hold sprint at all, and you're going to slightly, and I do mean slightly, you're going to slightly move your right stick in the direction that you want to fake that you're going, right? And then you're going to flick it the opposite direction. And really, that's the best way I can explain this. If you want a different way of me explaining it, I would explain it as literally following the player's body, right? So right there, you can see how he fakes one way and then goes to the left. So follow his body. So you're gonna wanna slightly input your stick. So not really a flick, more like a slow push, and then an immediate bring it back, right? And that's gonna give you your shimmy or like misdirection juke. All right, after that, we got a back jump. Okay, and so in order to pull this off, what you're gonna do is you're gonna slow your momentum down by coming up just off the stick, just your left stick, just a little bit, and not holding R2, and then you're gonna flick back like this. And you really have to, you don't want your left stick neutral. You really are gonna have to come off the stick though, until it's, you know, until you're like, it would look like you would be inching forward. So you'll run full speed, you'll kind of come off this left stick a little bit, and then you'll immediately flick down or back on your right stick. And that's gonna kind of give you like a back jump, you know, and it'll allow those defenders to fly past you, you know, if you got a guy that likes to dive a lot. Let's go. Now, a lot of this stuff can be comboed. It pretty much, I would say all of it, but you know, I've been messing around with some of this stuff, and it can't all be comboed. And then a lot of the times, you know, it obviously just depends on who you're using, what their ratings are, stuff like that. You know, the abilities that they got. As you see that guy, his abilities are flashing red. We'll talk about that a little later on in the video. So, you know, these combos, you know, like you can go from, you know, a juke to a spin. You can go from a regular juke to, you know, a precision spin. So, you know, just kind of play around with what they got on here, man. You can go from, you know, a regular move to a precision modified move. You can go from a precision modified move to a regular move. Obviously, you can link regular moves and regular moves. And, yeah, just, you know, go into practice mode, man. And try out just a lot of this stuff, see what you like, see what you can pull off. I'm gonna show you another one of my favorite new additions to the game. I'm very happy that they added this. This move is the manual reach for it, right? So, you know, them short distance situations, you can now reach for, you know, the pylon, the first down. I mean, you can really reach for it wherever you want, as long as you get the correct angle for the animation to go off, because obviously this stuff is mocapped, right? So you're going to have to meet certain animation requirements, and all you do is you hold your right stick forward or up before contact. So like me personally, I start holding probably right about here. I've been, you know, trying to lab and see if I can trigger the animation while in the tackle. I haven't had any success. I'm not saying that you can't do it. I just, you know, I haven't seen it and haven't been able to pull it off. So I hold it right about, you know, here or so. And you just hold it upwards. Don't flick it, because then you'll truck, right? And that's why I told you not to hold it. It wouldn't give you your desired animation, because this is the animation you would get. You're gonna get a reach for it animation, right? And you see it's just gonna extend that ball out. And like I said, you can do that really anywhere on the field. And so you can also, if you get hit while in the middle of this animation, you know how, you know, they'll branch animations from like one tackle to another. You do have an increased chance of fumbling when you're doing this. So, you know, it's give and take. I'm so happy that they added this. You know, I love this. And I also love that you can fumble this, bro. If you're not careful, you can fumble, and it can cost you the game. All right, and it'll backfire on you. So that's the new reach for it, or manual reach for it, that they added. I'm going to show you launches. All right. Some people don't know about launches. Some people don't like launches. Some people love launches. I use it just depending on, you know, whatever the situation is. Like a lot of the times, at least for me, I only really use it for punts and kick returns. You know, when you're receiving punts and receiving kick returns. All right. And so the only real requirement for this is that you're pretty much standing still. All right. And so when you catch the ball, right, in order to do a launch, you can do 3 different launches as far as I'm aware. And the first one, you'll not pressing anything, you'll just flick back on your right stick and he'll plant his foot in the ground and that'll launch you forward. And then you'll continue with your left stick input to run in whatever direction it is that you want to go. Now, the other 2 launches, they're the ones that I use the most. They're basically just directional launches. So in order to do this, so let's say you catch the ball on the punt, what you're gonna do is you are going to flick right stick in the direction that you want to go. All right. And so what this is gonna do is launch you in the direction that you want to go. And you can use R2 as well, or RT, your precision modifier, to give you, you know, a better angle, or a wider angle, I should say. All right, so we'll go ahead and do that again. So it's, you know, let's say you receive the ball, or maybe you just want to, you know, avoid someone, you'd stop and then you'd hold R2 or RT, and then you'd flick your stick to the right, you know, to get to the right, or you'd stop and then you'd flick your right stick left without pressing anything, and you'll get a different type of launch. Let's go. All right, and that's gonna be it for at least the ball carrier moves on the ground. I'm gonna show you something that, you know, you may or may not know depending on how long you've been playing the game. So a lot of people know, you know, last year in Madden they added the one-handed catches, right? So in order to pull off a one-handed catch, you're just gonna hit L1. Do that a little far. You're gonna hold L1 as your catch input. So now it's going to be L1 in order to do a one-handed catch. All right. So you hold L1, he'll one-handed catch it. It's really situational. Like, he kind of, you know, this right here was not the correct time for a one-handed catch. So, you know, it penalized me for that. You know, he had to slow down, he stumbled, you know, that's a tough catch. It's behind him. Like, you know, that's a really tough catch. So a lot of the times I find it just works better when you lob it and you lead it out so that they can, you know, have a better chance at catching that. Get that. You know, he is throwing that thing. But as you can see, you know, one-handed catch. And so if you've known that, did you know this? Your catches can be combined now. All right. So you can combine different types of catches together. And my favorite example of this is a one-handed catch that turns into a secured catch where he falls down, right, and he goes down. So he gets the ball and then he goes down like a conservative catch. So this is what a secured catch is going to look like, right? Basic secured catch, he just goes down. So now you can blend the two together by just L1 and X. So yeah, be careful with the one-handed catches because they won't always catch the ball. We'll throw it to 12 because that's our guy. Right, so L1, X, he goes down. All right, you can blend the other types of catches as well. You know, rack with secured. Here we go. just in case you need to make like, you know, like a really late adjustment to, we'll do aggressive secured catch. You know, go up, get the ball, because that was a little far out, and then go down. Right, because you won't always get, you know, the correct catch if your ball is too far out. So we'll do catch and run, secured catch, over the shoulder, catch it, go down. And so you're gonna press and hold your first input, right? So your first catch type that you want to choose, you're gonna press and hold that. So like square, I will press and hold square, and then as soon as the ball is about to be caught, then you're gonna switch it to your next input. So like there, I would hit X. There's gonna be a lot of different combinations for this. You know, your aggressives with your racks, your aggressives with your secured, your racks with your secured, your racks with your one-handed, your aggressive with your one-handed. You know, that's gonna be your L1 with your square, you know, or your LB with your X. So it's gonna be your one-handed catch with your rack right there. All right, so we're gonna go over something else that's new for this year in CFB 26. That's gonna be your Heisman abilities. All right. Previously, there were 4 tiers of abilities, and in game and menu, there still are 4 tiers of abilities. That's going to be your bronze, your silver, your gold, and your platinum, which is purple. Now there's Heisman. All right. And so Heisman is going to show up as basically red. It's going to be, so you see how that kind of stick right there is red. That means his composure is high enough to where his ability was upgraded to Heisman level, and that's gonna significantly increase. That's gonna significantly increase his abilities for, you know, whatever that ability is supposed to make better. It's gonna significantly increase that so that he's able to, you know, just perform better on the field. Right, so like this. We got our bruiser halfback in right now, so he's the power back, and you can see his composure almost full, right? But when it gets full, and you know you get that through positive plays, first down, stuff like that. When it gets full, then his abilities will be upgraded. Is now, you know, that boy on X Games mode, but I believe you get the gist. You know, Heisman, he's gonna be that dude on the field, you know, until they stop him. It's almost like Madden when, you know, you got your X Factor activated. It's gonna be pretty much like that. You know what I mean? As far as I'm concerned right now, this dude has Freight Train activated, right? And you're gonna see those red abilities flash. Each ability has, you know, a Heisman tier ability, and that's pretty much gonna be it. Now that's gonna be it for the abilities, at least the explanation of the Heisman ability. You can find all your abilities here. Pretty long list. They got some new ones. I'm sure there's some videos out there on, you know, the breakdown of the new ones, like Roller Coaster, Adrenaline, Instinct. Those are new. Ball Security, I believe, is new. Battering Ram is for sure 100% new. So, you know, just go look. You know, you can go in, you can read. It'll tell you what the first 4 tiers of the ability do, and then obviously that 5th tier, that's Heisman level. That's just gonna multiply probably your platinum. I would say it multiplies it by at least 2. You know, just to be on the safe side, right? So like your mobile Deadeye, went on the run outside the pocket, ultimate accuracy boost to any receiver. Heisman ability, bro's just not missing. You know, out on the run outside the pocket, he's not missing. Okay. Celebrations, you can celebrate. This is, you know, same way you get to your the ability list is how you get to the celebrations. Every time you get an interception, sometimes even like PBUs, your pass breakups, you can celebrate as well. You know, my personal favorite is strapped. You know, every time you get a first down, you can celebrate, and that's all with right stick input. And then you'll have to play around with your left stick and right stick inputs for touchdowns. You know, some are modified with L2 or LT. you know, your bumper or L1, R2 or RT, R1 right bumper, you know. So just try out all the celebrations and see what you like, man. That's gonna be it for this masterclass video. If there's something that you found and I missed, go ahead and put it in the comments, man. All right, so if you've made it to the end, I got something special to show you, right? So you can hot route almost any RPO now. Before you weren't able to do that, right? So you can now change pretty much the whole play if you'd like to. So this guy on a drag, and now they'll run it. And this can be done with a lot of different RPOs. Some of them you can, some of them you can't. They say some of them are like specific RPO plays. So like this one, how it's got the that bubble right there, that bubble screen. I can't change that one, but I can actually change this one with the other route on it. So I can still change that bubble that he's supposed to run, and he will run the streak. So I'm pretty sure it's only the ones that have only kind of like that bubble route, that bubble screen, that you can change. And yeah, that's gonna be a little addition. Anyone who didn't stay till the end of the video or hasn't watched it in another place, they won't know this. So you know, this will help you definitely keep a leg up on your competition. Go ahead and like, subscribe, and share the video, man. Catch y'all the next time.